to me, we were talking and you had mentioned a person can be really measured by the deeds, right?
Well, yeah, there's that biblical passage, you will know him or you'll know them by their deeds.
Right. And at the end of the day, your deeds have been echoed out far past the food. The food is amazing, and we want to talk about the food. But the food is one aspect of a whole community that you've created that then goes out into the larger community as a whole. Phoenix being one of them, Sedona being another. But I guarantee in Arizona as a whole, people have heard about what you're doing outside of Phoenix and outside of Sedona. I think a lot of people would like to know, how did you do that? How do you get to a point where, as a restaurant owner who could have done what you said, like shuffle people in, shuffle people out, did you get to a point where you're not taking people through your door and just handing them a box full of food and saying, have a good day? You created something where people feel a connection to you as the restaurateur, to Giving Tree as a community space, and to the food that you serve as something more than just what they shove in their face.
Thank you. You've asked a couple of different questions there, so I'm going to answer a couple of different ways, if you don't mind.
Of course.
The first thing I want to say is that Giving Tree Cafe is meant to be, quite frankly, it's the change that I'd like to see. So through the years, I've seen businesses go from mom and pop businesses up and down the main street in the town I grew up in to big box stores. And the big box stores offer a wider variety of products and more technologically improved products and things faster and the newest versions of whatever it is I'm interested in. And yet, part of what is taken away is that human connection in those stores. Now, I'm not saying it's completely devoid. Then there are certain individuals that are, of course, going to be the outliers that are going to not fall into this category. But by and large, when you go into a box store, you don't expect somebody to say, "Oh, Amber, hi, it's David. Welcome in. Here, we've got some new things over here." Pretty much people ignore you if you try to make eye contact with those people. Oftentimes they'll look away. They don't want to have any engagement whatsoever with their guests, because to those staff, their job is what their manager told them to do, which is to stock the shelves, and they've got so much going on that they don't want to be taken away and, oh, do you know where the earbuds are or whatever? They don't want to be taken off task. They've got to do their job. And they've forgotten that the reason that they have a job is for you. And so I see that happening more and more in our society. So when my daughter wanted to open up the restaurant in Sedona, which she owns, called Chocolate Tree, I said, well, we're going to do business our way. And she said, absolutely, Dad. We're going to do it. We call it divine commerce. We're going to do divine commerce in our restaurant, and it's going to be great. And I'm kind of thinking, okay, well, this is going to be two things. It's going to be a 100% organic vegan restaurant here in Sedona, but it's also going to be a social experiment to see if divine commerce would actually work. And it worked really well up there, so we do it down at Giving Tree Cafe in Phoenix as well. And part of what the divine commerce has to do with is we don't put making the most amount of money the fastest at the hierarchy, which is what most of the box stores do. And it's a shame, because not only do they have it in their criteria for what they want to do, but actually they're almost required by law to do it, because when they have shareholders that invest money in them, their job is to make the most amount of money for their shareholders. And oftentimes it's the community be damned. And so they've kind of put themselves into this corner where the profitability of this quarter becomes such an important thing, and their livelihood depends on it, and their own jobs depend on it. So that's what they focus on. And it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen even in a decade, but it happened after several decades of modification and evolution. That's kind of how our businesses run now. So if you just do this one thing in business, if you take making the most amount of money the fastest out of that top spot in the hierarchy, and you put at the top spot in the hierarchy, I'm going to do what's best for the planet. If you just start there, number one, pollution pretty much comes to an end. People it's a big subject in today's world. I don't want to get into the politics of it. You can even argue about the climate situations, a lot of different ways to look at that, but you can't argue with the fact that we're destroying the rainforests and we're polluting our planet at such a quick rate that there's almost no place to put the garbage anymore. And the air quality and the water quality has become severe, and there's huge tracts of land that are untillable now and unairable. And so something needs to change. And by taking care of the land and taking care of Mother Earth first, you change a lot of that. And so because that's our hierarchy value, one of the offshoots of that is we must be 100% organic. I have been for over 50 years myself. However, organic didn't start first. It's not like let's open up an organic vegan restaurant and then go from there. We wanted to do a restaurant that treated the planet with respect and dignity first. And so we must be organic. We can't fluctuate from that, because if we do, then we're off purpose. We might as well just close our doors.